Here we go. Something like that. Okay. Hey everyone. The podcast today is going to be not me singing on guitar, but I miss playing guitar, so I shared a little bit with you. But welcome back to the podcast, Joan's Soapbox, and today is episode 3. And the topic is one requested by someone named Andy. Hi, Andy. He's always been very supportive in my photography or my work in general. And he asked the question, which is how age affects the work you create, or if it does. Again, how age affects the work you create, or if it does. When I read this, I had to really think about my response, because not every day you think about your past, not for me at least. And to go about this, when I was younger, when I was a teenager at least, I remember that I honestly didn't have a voice. I didn't know my identity yet. I didn't know what I liked or disliked. I wasn't as confident as I am today, being 31. And during my teenage years was when I first started taking photos with a DSLR camera, with a film camera, and I was the type of person who would go to the supermarket and always be in the magazine aisle and look at all the magazines and choose which ones I like, especially if they had like the celebrity crush I had on the cover or the boy band at the time, especially shout outs to NSYNC. And I would buy them and then I would cut the pictures out and I would make a collage in my sketchbook. And I think that really helped me learn what I liked and disliked. It's one thing to like a certain celebrity, let's say, but it was also more than that. It was the photos and how they were captured, and I started to see a pattern of the things that attract me and the things that I just disliked in general. So when I started really becoming more serious in photography, I think I was still trying to figure out how to market myself. And so this is an advice I would say to the young people out there, even though people say I'm young, but to the people who are much younger than me, it's okay to try to figure out who you are as a person, not just in your work, but just in general. It's okay to take the time to figure out yourself, because I think a lot of people nowadays don't, and maybe they're embarrassed that maybe it's too late, or that to just admit that they are trying to figure themselves out is just so hard to say out loud. But at the time when I was trying to figure out what kind of work inspires me, I feel that I was doing the most in a good way. I was just at first trying to figure out what kind of work I wanted to do. So I would try to recreate the photos that I would see in magazines, what I would see when technology evolved, what I would see on Tumblr, on Flickr, if anyone still remembers that. And I would just try to do all these photo challenges, like 365 days, take a photo a day, or 52 weeks, one photo a week. And I just wanted to just get better and better taking photos. But there was no necessarily a theme. I just wanted to keep practicing. And I would take photos on my camera, at the time digital, but I would do it every day. I would take photos of anything. I just wanted to be one with the camera, as cheesy as that sounds. And from there I realized I really like to take portraits. So any person that was willing to let me take their photo, I would take their photo. And still, I wanted to push further and do fashion photography. But the thing was, doing fashion photos and creating editorials was not something easy. I didn't even know where to begin. All I knew is that I enjoyed looking at that type of work, but still I didn't feel I was capable to produce that type of work. So in my early 20s, like very early, I said again, I tried every type of photography, from assisting a wedding photographer to shooting literally baby showers, children parties. This is work you'll never see in the daylight anymore, but I honestly tried different types of photography just to know where my voice was. And that's why I have a huge appreciation for every other person who does different types of photography, because I can say that I know what it feels like, but I also realized it wasn't for me. And so after trying all these different types of categories per se, I then realized again that fashion editorials was my genre. And then that's when I would assist other fashion photographers. I would literally contact, whether it was on Facebook groups at the time, or just, there was not really Instagram DMs yet, or just an email, a regular email, and I would say, hey, I would love to work or assist under you. I would want to learn whatever I could, if I could just be on set. And it was hard to be an assistant, because I had to learn how to not be the main photographer. I would have to do every other thing. But watching them helped me learn what I liked and disliked. I think that's, as you grow older or the more you practice, that is what is very important, is to figure out what you like and dislike. And so as I see other photographers do something, I would learn if it would work for me or not. And as I learned from other photographers, and also I had to put my ego down, because not that I thought I was like hot shit, but there was a part of me that would question sometimes their decisions, and then I would wish that I was the one photographing, but then I would have to remind myself that I'm just not there yet, that this is not my photo shoot, that I'm just here to observe and learn. And I think that's really difficult for a lot of people. Even till this day, when I have photo shoots, it's always a person either on set wanting to do what I do, and they're just eager to do it, or they actually respect to just watch in the background and know that one day that they get inspired and they'll do that same job. So it's always like a mixed bag of who knows what. And so once I got a feel for what I liked, that's when I started making connections. I started making mood boards. I would contact modeling agencies, introducing them to who I am and my portfolio. And it's interesting because I had a professor years later who told me, I never thought you were the type to shoot fashion editorials. Knowing me personally, he felt that it didn't match my persona, and whatever that means. And maybe he said that because he felt that the fashion industry was very brutal and stuck up, and my personality doesn't match that. And even a model one time on a photo shoot said, "You are one of the nicest people I've ever met, and I don't even know how you're doing this type of work." And I honestly said at the time that I just love clothes. I love the look of models, and I like to tell a story, and every other drama surrounding fashion I could care less about. But doing fashion campaigns, shooting editorials, I find fulfillment doing that at the time. So I don't let every other thing bother me, whatever the fashion industry means to other people in a negative way. And so another thing I would want to say before I continue with this is that when I was in college, when I first started and I was studying photography, I really give a lot of credit to my professor, Clay Patrick McBride. He was very strict. Like, if you were late for class, you would have to wait outside in the hallway for like an hour. And I learned so much, and I think that's why my lighting, as I can say, is in a confident way that it's as strong as it is technically because I took his class. He's known for shooting a lot of music videos, or at least music artists and their like album covers and things like that. Like, look him up. And he would have us recreate photos that were made from famous photographers, and we would have to do it ourselves in our own way and prove that we could recreate that lighting. And that has helped me so much. And again, I think that also shows in my work like from then until now. And then plus, when I was in my 20s, I would do so many photo shoots. I would honestly probably not create, that's like pre-production. I would honestly shoot or schedule at least 5 photo shoots in a week when I would have a photo studio, and it would be different portraits or editorial shoots. And I feel that now when I think about it, I don't even know how I had the energy to want to be able to just shoot that much. But it made me who I am today and have the work ethic that I have today. It made me realize faster what I like and what I don't like. And in my work, I haven't spoken about my work in a very long time to think about it photo-wise. I learned when it came to my fashion editorials, I really enjoyed photographing male models. I love creating editorials where they would wear suits. I love the form and the formality of a man wearing just formal attire, literally, and dark colors. And I would reach out to wardrobe stylists, makeup, hair, everybody to create my vision. And sometimes I would photograph women, and the only reason why I feel I was on the fence or I hesitated to photograph women is because most clients or modeling agencies would prefer them to look very glamorous, and that wasn't my type of work. It was much more high fashion, edgy, dark, moody, cinematic. And so if the female model didn't have that look, it'd be a bit difficult. They would have to really have a unique look for me to want to photograph them. But with a male model, it's easier for me to photograph them. And that is the type of work I learned I liked to create at the time. I would try to write stories, make storyboards, mood boards, and again, they would just be very dark, nothing bright, nothing commercial looking, nothing happy. And till now, that's still the same type of work that I enjoy doing. I think it's just kind of a past memory right now because I haven't been focusing on fashion. And that's just because I did that for years. Pretty much all my years in my 20s, I just did fashion. And then when I decided to do filmmaking, or focus on that at least, I wanted to tell more stories about life, family, myself, and what I've been through, and focus on mental health and emotions and just authenticity. I think that I was so tired of seeing in a movie theater the same type of movies being redone and having a big budget and just having another sequel to another movie. And for me, I just want to continue making short films or one day a feature on stories that we all relate to or resonate with, and for some reason someone has not made a movie like whatever story I'm thinking of, because they rather prefer to make a movie that they know for sure would make money in the box office. And so I wouldn't say that my age would be an issue to what I created. Maybe budget-wise, I think that as I got older, I have more of a budget to make the things I want to create. But even still, when I think about how when I was younger, in my 20s, and I created a photo shoot, it was like 5 models, and I created with some of my friends at the time literally a cardboard knight. He literally had an armor as like a soldier back in like the medieval times, and we made it out of cardboard. And to me, that was one of the coolest things I've ever done. Or to create a whole set with construction paper and things like that. It might sound low budget, but I think that when I was at that age, I felt like I thought more out of the box, let's say, compared to now. It's always, oh, like who can I hire to recreate this? Or who can I, like, how, like, it's just like money instead of me just trying to think of how I could do it myself. And again, so I think as I got older, I just feel like there's just more money involved compared to when I was a bit younger, and I feel like I didn't have that much money, so I had to figure out on my own how to create what I wanted to make. And sometimes when I look back at what I've worked on, it's amazing. It fascinates me. I surprise myself that at that time, wherever my headspace was at, I was still able to produce whatever it was that I envisioned. And I really want to first say thank you to each and every person, whether you're in my life or not in my life anymore, and you're watching this and you know you were part of my life at those times when I was learning and growing as a creative artist, photographer, whatever, filmmaker. Because without those people, I think that was more of a huge factor that contribute to my work than my age. I never felt that my age stopped me from wanting to do what I wanted to do. I think I set such a high bar for my goals that I honestly would say to myself, at age this, I should accomplish this. And I would always prove myself that I could do it. And I think the age would just be more of a goal set, just for me to have an idea of where and how long it would take for me to get there. But other than that, I don't think my age kind of just change the things that I like or dislike. I still pretty much like the same things. I still look for the same things in my work, and it's just probably a different model or actor per se in my work, but it's just still the same themes. And I think that's what shows how I am as a person and what is important to me, and that I still stay true to myself, and I haven't changed just because, oh, at this age I liked this and now I don't. I don't think I have changed that much in the things that interest me. I think I've grown maturely as I've gotten older and just been more confident more in what I do. And as I got older, it made me want to teach the younger generation more and always be a hype man, woman, hype person to push people who reach out to me now and ask me for advice or just words of wisdom, to encourage them to do more because they see what I do. I think that is much more fulfilling. And also, again, I just sometimes think that I can't believe that I've accomplished what I've accomplished. And people have said that they lived vicariously through my life. And for me, I've just lived my life as how I've always lived it. And maybe to others it might not be, or it might be actually. It might be much more grandiose than an average person. But for me, what's most important is that I get to inspire people with whatever I do. And I hope I continue to do that. And I really just hope that people don't think that their age limits them to do what they want to do. I think it's more about using your brain power, using your common sense, using or having the drive and determination to know or to believe that you can do it. And hopefully that lasts with you for the rest of your life, if that's the goal. For me, again, I, for myself, try my best to just continue making things that I love, that I want to put out in the world, that if one day I wasn't here, that people would remember the things that I've made, and hopefully that makes an impact on them. And that's all I could be grateful for. And that if you learn something from something I've created, that's even better. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't know if I've answered this question properly, but when I think about age in my work, these are the things that I think about. So thank you again for listening to another episode of Joan's Soapbox. And stay tuned to the next episode. Sayonara. It's the end of the video, so don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, it will help me in the long run. Okay, bye.